So, on, guys, I'm starting this so that it's going to be going live on Sunday night, and this is extremely important what I have to tell you guys. I've given a lot of warnings in the past. I try to give the warnings, give you the biggest information as soon as possible so that you can react to that information if you need to be, whether it be good or whether it be bad. And so some of the biggest warnings I've given were Thomas quitting, obviously Ryan quitting, all the bad news about John and his wallets. I gave those like very early, and I tried to cover that news as quickly as I could so that you could help people save money if they decided to sell. And I did do that. I helped a lot of people get out, and it ended up being the best thing for you as a Safemoon holder because you didn't lose that money. But I will say this for anybody who does watch this, like, I ask one thing of you is to just understand what it is I'm telling you, because this is probably, in my opinion, one of the biggest warnings I could ever give anybody who's ever followed me in Safemoon, or if you're a Safemoon holder, or anybody in Evergrow. So if you're in Evergrow or Safemoon, or if you just know who I am, this is, in my opinion, the most exciting and biggest thing I've come up with, and all I want is for you to understand it before, and so that you can decide for yourself. So you can click off and disregard it. That's fine. I told people about Evergrow, and I made thousands of people a ton of money. Every day I hear a new person saying, "Thank you for getting me into Evergrow. I made this much money. I made 10,000, 60,000, 100,000 plus." Every day I do something live on Twitter or something, I hear somebody tell me, "Hey, I just want to say thank you for that." And so, in my opinion, this is the best thing that I've ever covered. And this I have to go into explaining why this is. And so I want to do it quickly because I don't want to lose your attention, and I want you to understand that how this came about. Because my confidence is not in my confidence is in the idea. If you understand this idea, I think you'll feel the same way as I do. I think you'll be very bullish on it, and you'll be super happy. First of all, let me just say that right now is a pre-sale for Control Token. It's a token I made, and you can do the pre-sale. The token has a buy and a sell tax, and so hopefully through the sell tax, the pre-sale actually will guarantee a floor value where the price can actually just go up so that people don't sell at a loss. Hopefully that sell tax and the buy tax will actually make a pre-sale be what it's supposed to do, which is the floor value. Through that 20% sell tax, you'll actually be able to get a pre-sale that goes up instead of down. Every single pre-sale I see right now is going down. So first off, some people will just be like, "Oh, you're doing a pre-sale, I'm buying." And I'm like, no, don't buy. Don't buy just because you trust me, just because I told you about bad things about Safemoon and I was willing to be honest about that, just because I told you about Evergrow and made tons of people money. Just hear out the idea first, because it's super important you understand this idea so you can decide for yourself. I obviously am going to be extremely bullish on this, more than any project I've almost ever seen when it comes to this, and I'm not just making that up. It's called Control Token, and the Control Token was born from my time at Safemoon, my time at Evergrow, and just watching DeFi in general. And I was watching pump and dump and rug pull and pump and dump and over and over and over again. And I was having project after project after project endlessly. Every week a new project reach out to me, tell me their idea, and I say, why would an investor expect to make money in that? Why would a holder think that they're going to make money in that? And over and over and over again, the ideas are the narrative is shifted to a promise of utilities. And like, I bet that 95% of projects that are promising profit from utilities, if they do get the utilities out, the profit is not going to be big enough to actually change the project. It has to be super legitimate. Now, Evergrow, I think, actually has a really good, solid strategy. I'm not saying those projects aren't out there. There's Vitreous, there's Evergrow, there's Squidgrow, but those are few. Most projects that are saying we're going to do this, it's going to produce enough profit, that profit's not going to change the charts, and that's if those utilities even come out. And most utilities that are being promised have already been made by every other project. So Control token is, let me say this real quick too. And like I said, it's just real important. Anybody who watches this, just hear me out, because this, in my opinion, is the biggest thing that I've ever done and the biggest warning I could ever give. That my time in crypto, I try to figure out what is the problem that keeps happening over and over again. And this is I'm gonna connect this to Safemoon. I'm gonna show you what happened with Safemoon. I'm gonna connect this to Evergrow. I'm gonna show you what happened with Evergrow. I'm gonna connect it to the rest of DeFi. I'm gonna show you what's happening over and over again. I'm gonna show you what I've come up with and how it solves literally the problems that every project is facing, and how it creates something that, in my opinion, is going to change the game. But everybody says that. You just have to hear me out and decide that if you believe me or not for yourself. Problem is, it's a pyramid scam. Every crypto project isn't a pyramid scam, but it's a pyramid structure. If you buy early, you're at the top. Everybody who comes in later, they're the suckers. They buy in late. Everybody in Safemoon who bought in late, most of you guys got screwed. Buying on the dip down, you got screwed. There's a natural pyramid structure that incentivizes you to destroy the project. And like, I don't know if people have ever heard this said this way. If you don't realize, like, what are investors incentivized to do? You're incentivized to buy early and sell on a bunch of people who buy after you. The only way you can make profit is if a bunch of people buy after you and you sell on them. You have to profit off of tons of people's loss in order to make money in DeFi. This is what everyone's incentivized to do. And the problem, actually, the number one problem in crypto is whales. But everybody wants to be a whale. And so whales, they control the project. With Safemoon, whales were getting reflections. They were making them even stronger. They just kept selling the reflections. They were getting the most reflections, and reflections sounded like a really cool idea, but really all it did was enhance the problem with crypto in general. Whales are already dominant, and they have too much power over the price, and the price is what controls interest. And so as soon as whales sell, the project's dead. No one cares about it. The loss is over. They get tons of profit. Everybody else is screwed. So what I saw was, okay, the problem is on a foundational level. It's the code. Literally, everyone's trying to solve this problem. Not this problem, actually. Everyone's trying to make a crypto that does well, that explodes, or that's sustainable. But the problem isn't where they're trying to solve it with utilities, with hype, with memeability. None of those things solve the problem, because the problem is at the very core. It's the very foundation of the distribution of wealth. And I promise, if you hear me out, you're gonna be like, this makes perfect sense. None of this is hype or speculation. What is happening is distribution of wealth, and it's happening in a pyramid-like structure. And so what I'm seeing is a reoccurring problem that everybody's facing. Everyone's incentivized not only to destroy the project, but to take advantage of other people. That's what 90-something% of crypto is. It's a pump and dump. It's a scam. It's a rug. People are giving out tokens. They're giving them to their friends. They're giving them to influencers. People are using bots. You're incentivized to steal from people in crypto, naturally, right? You can just make a fake project, launch it, scam people, get a bunch of people to follow. You can get tokens that you pump and dump on people. There is so much heavy incentivization, not only in the structure, but even outside of the structure. That's why I say, a lot of people say, oh, we're not going to pump and dump, we're not going to scam, we're not going to rug, we're not giving away any tokens. That's awesome. But guess what? You're still stuck with the number one problem of what stops a crypto from growing or being sustainable. It's the pyramid-like structure that's in the code, and it's how the distribution of wealth is happening, which is that you buy early, you're given a lot of tokens, people buy in after. Now you control the price. If you're a whale, if you've ever been a whale in a project, you control the price. As soon as whales hit a selling point, and by the way, there's usually a large amount of whales. Now, if all the whales hold, the price is going to go, it's going to skyrocket, right? It's going to blast off. If the whales hold and you get that momentum, that hype going, it doesn't stop until the whales sell. It literally does not stop. People keep telling their friends, their bags keep going up, they tell their friends, it just keeps going. Most projects are not able to hit their potential of the market cap or the value that they could reach because you reach the selling point of the whales. As soon as the whales sell and the other whales sell, the project's dead, the price goes down, and it is extremely hard to get that momentum up. And then comes the promise of utilities, of partnerships, of things that never end up actually getting the price to change again. 90-something% of the time, most cryptos fail. Most cryptos are promising you the world. They're promising you profit from utilities. And I'm not taking a shot at any project. I'm just talking about the reality of what's happening. I'm not trying to FUD any project. And I still believe in Evergrow. I still believe in Vitreous. I still believe in SquidGrow. I still think that people are going to make money on those. I'm not targeting those. I'm talking about the whole of crypto right now. So how do you fix this, right? I'm going to let you know right now. I didn't come at this like, oh, I want to make money. I'm going to make a project. I didn't think about it like that at all. I thought, what is the problem that keeps happening? And I spent hundreds of hours thinking of a solution. And I do believe I found the solution. And it's not dumb. It's literally the solution to the problem. And like I said, it's distribution of wealth is like this. And the whales, the early buyers, the scales so heavily lean towards you if you're an early buyer. By the way, stocks and stuff, that was just used to support like companies and stuff. It wasn't just you buy it and you hope it goes up. This is why this structure is so heavily incentivized to scam people in DeFi because of the structure. Even if you're not rugging or pumping, you can pump and dump. And if you're not pumping and dumping, you can give out tokens. And if you're not giving out tokens, then the early buyers, whoever they are, they're going to be the only ones that benefit. And you're not going to be able to the project's only going to last as long as the whales allow it to. As soon as they take profits, it's dead. They have no incentivization to hold on to their tokens. The goal is to outsell each other at the top. And then everybody else who got in after them, who was their liquidity, their exit liquidity, they're the ones that are screwed. So what we need to change then, if the problem is in the code, in the foundation, and how the wealth is being distributed, you have to change that part of it. How you do that is you need another way to distribute wealth and make it more fair, right? We need to distribute wealth more fairly, but not just more fairly. We need to do it in a way that incentivizes the growth of the project. Naturally, the basic pyramid-like structure incentivizes you to buy, get a bunch of people in after you, and sell on them, right? So how do we distribute wealth in a way that incentivizes the growth of the project? And this is what Control Token does. If you want to go straight to the video, you can go watch it. It's controltoken.net. I made $70K off Evergrow. We good. 70K profit. I had to pay $30K in taxes, so I sold for $100K. And I told everybody where my selling point was at, so I let people know when I was going to sell way before I did. So I promise you, I just want people, hear me out, because this isn't a small deal. By the way, I might be doing a space. Slum Doge, Dogecoin Millionaire, agreed to do a space with me going over my project after I explained it to him. I don't know if something clicked in his head or what it was, or if it was just like, oh, you're my friend, or oh, you're on the SquidGrow. I don't know what it was. But after I explained it to him, because he said, okay, tell me your project, he was like, let's do a space and we'll talk about your project. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, I don't want to leech off you. He's like, no, let's do a space. I was like, sweet. Hey, you suggest it. Sure, why not? So there's a good chance that I'll be doing a space with Dogecoin Millionaire to discuss this project. I think that probably something stood out to him when he heard me explain this, and this is what I want. If you're in Safemoon and you watch this, you want to hear what I'm trying to tell you. It's not a small deal; it's a very big deal. So distribution of wealth. How do we do that? Well, it's actually with a tax. Taxes is how when you buy, you're buying into a contract. You send the contract, the token or the native token, right? Coin, BNB, Ethereum, Polkadot, whatever it is, you send that to the contract. It sends you back the tokens, right? That's the distribution of wealth. You're sending it, you're receiving it. Now, through a tax, we're able to change that. Now, a tax doesn't mean that the project therefore is saved. It's what you do with that. It's what you do with tokenomics that can make or break it. And I guarantee you most projects haven't done this, and I don't think any project has done this, what I've created. So through a tax, we can change the distribution of wealth. I'm just going to put DW into a structure that incentivizes the future of the project instead of the death of it. That incentivizes holding, that incentivizes buying the dip, and that it's real. So we threw a tax, and I'll show you how. With control token, it's 15% buy, 20% sell. 2% goes to the treasury to pay for team, dev work, and marketing, because if you do what Safemoon did and you don't put anything towards the project, you're not going to have anything to pay for if it blows up. So it would be very stupid to not do that. Other than that, 13% and 18% of the cells. What that does, this is so important that people understand this. People are seeking value. This is why you're in crypto. The value goes to the LP when people buy and sell. This is a mechanism of distributing wealth, the LP, and it's very pyramid-like. How do you fix this? Through a tax. How are we fixing that through a tax? We're going to distribute the wealth in a way that incentivizes the future of the project. How do we do that? We take the tax. This is super important that you understand this. You preserve the value. How do you preserve the value of the tax? If the price is really high and you collect tokens, if the value goes down, you're not preserving the value. You've lost the value. The value of the LP drastically goes up and down based on supply and demand, right? And buys and sells. But by converting the tax when it happens into a stable coin, you preserve the value. So that all the volume that's happening at the low price and the high price and all the in-between is being preserved. Now, this is super, super important that people understand this. It's not just preserving that value, because it's how you distribute it. Because are you distributing it in a way that incentivizes the death of the project or the growth of it? And I'll go to this. This is not a shot at Evergrow. This is just what happened with Evergrow. I think Evergrow was massively successful. Evergrow did $40 million in BUSD. $40 freaking million in rewards. It's insane. It's like over 400 million in volume. Now, here's the problem, is if you distribute wealth, I'm breaking all this down for you. I promise you, I'm not wasting your time. If you distribute wealth to everyone and immediately, what happens? As soon as the volume dies, the wealth has already been distributed to everybody immediately. There's no more. That's the price. If the price goes down, which happens with every project, now incentive to buy drastically decreases. Every time the whales sell, the hype is gone. Getting that upward momentum is extremely hard to do. And even if you manage to get it again, the whales usually sell again, by the way. Usually. There's some projects that are able to counter that, but most, like literally 90-something% of projects do not counter what I'm talking about. So if you do it to everyone, it greatly dilutes the money. If you give $100 to 10 people, they each get like about 10 if they have equal amount of tokens, right? But if you give $100 to 2 people, now they got 50 each. So if you distribute, by the way, Evergrow is doing this, so it's actually the rewards have gotten better as well. If you distribute only to those that are staking, now you've just greatly increased the value for everyone who doesn't stake, for every dead wallet, for every person that doesn't want to get in the staking pool. They're forfeiting their rewards to everybody who is. That's a massive play. That could be a whole video in itself, and I probably will do that eventually. Like I said, it's controltoken.net. If you guys want to buy the pre-sale, the 20% sell tax should preserve, hopefully, the floor, which is the purpose you do a pre-sale, is you're trying to buy at the cheapest price, right? The sell tax, if somebody sold right after the pre-sale, they'd be taking a loss. That's my goal, is to do everything is designed for the project to do well and to distribute wealth more fairly. And you'll see that as soon as you understand this. So by distributing reflections to every single wallet, it only mattered for the whales. By distributing, whenever Grow distributed its BUSD rewards to every single wallet, that means that it only really mattered for the whales and the bigger holders. It actually ended up being pretty good for the smaller holders as well. But if Evergrow had taken those rewards and not only given it to stakers, it would have been like way bigger. But the second part, immediately, this is a problem. If you immediately give out those rewards, now all they have to do, they get their BUSD rewards, they sell, they got all their rewards, and they got their tokens. Or if the volume goes down, you might as well sell because the rewards aren't good anymore. Might as well take your profits for your bag, right? So Evergrow did amazing. I think it already succeeded. It blew up. It rewarded a bunch. You can't have only winners in a project. It's impossible. I think it already succeeded, and it's on its way to succeed in a second way with everything that it's learned and with a much better roadmap. However, I'm just talking about the previous structure of what happened in the beginning of Evergrow. If you, instead of doing immediately, you do it delayed. Delayed stablecoin staking rewards. What does that do? It shifts value from the LP. This is the value that everyone's seeking, the value of the LP. Everybody's putting in the BNB into the pool. They're pulling out the tokens, and now everybody wants that BNB to go high so that they can pull out that BNB by sending their tokens back. Well, if we create a new distribution of wealth mechanism through a tax, through tokenomics, and we preserve the value by converting it to a stable coin, and we put it into the future. Now we've shifted what people are seeking into the future, and we reward the people who make it the longest with the most tokens. Whoever has the most tokens in the staking pool in the future gets those rewards. If you did the token and you rewarded it in the future, the value could greatly go down with the liquidity pool. But if you preserve the value, the liquidity pool could go down, and you still have the value is still preserved. The value of the rewards cannot go down. And technically, since we're doing not just a stable coin, but an appreciating stable coin, the value can only go up. Not only are you getting rewarded in a stable coin, but in an appreciating stable coin, so the value only goes up. Nobody's ever had a project that did stable appreciating coin rewards. If this project blows up, it will be the first to do that. There was projects before Evergrow that had BUSD rewards, but Evergrow was the one to blow up. Though no one else can say that they had the biggest BUSD rewards compared to Evergrow. And I hope that Control Token will be the biggest project to not just do stablecoin rewards, but to do appreciating stablecoin rewards, which means the value of your rewards can only go up. You can hold, and this matters more for if you're a bigger holder. If you have $10,000 and it goes up, and the value goes up, it only go up a little bit, but the more you have, the more that can actually mean. It can mean a lot, right? So I'm really trying to break this down for people who want to know. I'm not done yet. The more you think about this, the more bullish that I think you'll get if you understand it from my perspective. The problem with Control Token, the main problem, it's kind of an attack on all of DeFi. So every project is going to get defensive when they hear about Control Token because it's kind of an attack on all of DeFi. It's not intentionally an attack. It's just saying here's the problem that every project has. And it's just true. Every project has a natural distribution mechanism through the liquidity pool that's a pyramid structure. Through attacks, through tokenomics, you can change that structure in a way that incentivizes the growth of the project. What that means is an amazing thing, that the tax is when everybody pays that tax, they're paying for the project to survive because they're paying into the future of the project. When you buy, you're paying into the future of the project. You're putting value, it's being shifted into the future, and it's rewarding those who make it. Never before has there been a project where the people who held the longest all the way down were rewarded for that, right? Safemoon, Evergrow, if you held all the way down, you missed out on taking all that value out of the LP that you could have taken. You could have just gotten your rewards and sold. But now all these people who didn't take profits wish they would have taken profits. However, if you took all the rewards that every single whale would have gotten and you said you can get those rewards if you make it to the control event, the 1-year event. And this is a big event. I'll have to explain it because it's kind of a big deal, but it builds up and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. The rewards get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger all the way into the control event, which is the biggest reward distribution of stablecoin rewards and control token on a massive level. So we're going to reward this becomes control token is you playing two games. One is you still have the fun of playing for the liquidity pool and for having massive gains. It's just if you put in, say, I don't even know what the value would be, 1,200 or you put in 12 or $1,300. You pay the 15% tax. That puts you at about 1,000. Say you hit 100x hypothetically. You hit 100x, and now you've got 100k, and you want to take profits. Well, pay that 20% tax on your way out. That's 20k. Where is that 20k going? It's going, instead of you and every other project, when they sell, it has no positive impact on the project. The sales only hurt the project. People lose hype. They lose value. They have nothing to look forward to. When you sell that, you say, I want to take my 80k profit. I'll pay the 20k into the project and I'm still getting 80k profit. I'll pay my taxes on that. Hey, I only put in 1,000. I'm making like $50,000-$60,000. That's amazing. And I'm paying to keep the project alive instead of taking the project by the balls and letting it die for me when I leave. But not only are you paying that 20k, but there was actually all these rewards that you would have gotten at the end. And because you're leaving the project with those tokens, you're forfeiting all those rewards that you would have gotten. Now, I don't know if you know this, but the rewards that whales get in these reward projects are like massive. They get insane amounts. They're getting tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands of dollars a day when the volume is good. The good thing about control token is this structure of moving value into the future and rewarding those holders who make it to them in a big event actually does incentivize the project to stay alive through buying the dip. There's actually real value in buying the dip because the more tokens you get into the staking contract, the more of those appreciating stablecoin rewards you're going to get. Which this means that there actually is more potential for the price to go on more runs for people to take those profits. So you get to play the game of the LP, which is what you want. I'm trying to give people what they want, and I'm trying to do it in a more fair and balanced way. Good thing with me is it's not a rug. It's not a scam. We're not giving any tokens away to anybody to just sell on the charts that didn't earn it, right? We are giving tokens away to Evergrow as a partnership, but that's going to be like thousands of people getting like $5, $10, $20 worth of control token. And it's just it's a marketing tactic that we'll have with Evergrow. They've already agreed to it. We'll just have to work out the details on that. But other than that, I don't get any tokens. I have to buy my own tokens. Not giving any tokens to any devs, not giving any tokens to any influencers, not giving any tokens to any friends. I don't believe in giving tokens. That's just creating red candles on charts for people who didn't earn it. So we're already much better than most projects. Now we have a pre-sale. Pre-sale is going towards, supporting the dev work, supporting me, supporting the marketing. We need that. And it hopefully through the sell tax ensures that it's actually the floor. How many pre-sales you buy, you just gave a bunch of people who don't give a crap about the project money to just dump real quick so they can go to the next pre-sale and do that. It's every freaking project. Everything is incentivized to destroy you and your value. And this project is all about preserving value into the future, keeping the project alive, and distributing wealth in a more fair way. But what I want to provide is people want these massive gains. How do we get those massive gains? People got to hold. How do we incentivize holding? We have to reward it. We move value through a tax into the future. And so people, if you're a whale, you have to consider, especially early on, if the project blows up, that you are forfeiting rewards that cannot go down and will only go up into the control event. The more buys, the more sells that happen, the bigger the control event will be. And so if you're selling for 10K, 20K, 50K, 100K early in the year, because it's a year, this project's launching into the year of the all-time high of Bitcoin. That's what it's aiming for. As long as Bitcoin does what it's always done, then we're going to be launching into the time where there is the most money in the markets, where people are looking at projects that blow up, where we're capitalizing on the number one factor of growth. This is where I'm telling you guys, I am being realistic. Every project is almost deceiving you. They're making promises and people are believing those, and those promises almost never come true. Whereas I'm saying, let's be real. Why does a project go up? Because the price goes up. People think they're going to make money. The more the price goes up, this is the number one factor of growth in a project when it comes to holders, presence, and even affecting the price. As long as that price goes up, it gets the attention of everybody, and it's almost exponential. It's kind of weird that the more you let the price go up, the faster it goes up. It'll just explode, right? But it's always halted by whales. And understandably, if you're a whale in a project, are you going to miss out on your chance to take 50K profit, 100K profit while you've got a hard life? Of course not. It's not the whale's fault. Nothing wrong with taking profits. It's just that structure does not incentivize the long-term future of the project. It incentivizes you to destroy the project for your own gain. Through a tax, we can use that tax and reward those who stake their tokens, and you can always unstake if you want to, and we can reward the people who usually suffer the most. And these are the people that kept the project alive. If you're holding in a project, you're keeping it alive. If whales are holding, they're allowing the project to grow, because price is the number one mover of a project. Anyone who's saying anything else is lying to you. It's price. It's all about the price. So if someone's going to tell me how you're going to grow a project, I'm going to say we need to keep that price. We need to allow the price to do what it's going to do. We need to allow the project to grow. How do we do that? Well, what's the problem that stops that from doing that? It's the whales. How do we keep the whales happy? We need to create a structure that incentivizes and rewards them for holding. How do we do that? Through a tax, moving and preserving the value so that it doesn't go down with the liquidity pool. If the price goes down, we move that value into the future, and we reward them on a bigger and a bigger basis that leads up into a big event called the control event. Corey, I will go over that eventually. I'm just trying to do a detailed structure breakdown of this so that, because I really want people to understand this. I think that if you skim over this, that you might miss out on a big opportunity. I told a ton of people about Evergrow, and I was technically right about Evergrow, and I also helped it grow because I told so many people about it. But the rewards were insane for Evergrow. The people got massive rewards. People made a ton of money off the profits. And a lot of people said, I wish I had listened to you. And I'm saying, hey, I love Evergrow. I'm way more bullish on this than I am on Evergrow, than I ever was on Evergrow. This structure, it's not just a cool tokenomics structure. It's solving the foundational problem with every single project in DeFi that's found in just how a liquidity pool works. When you send tokens, you get tokens back, and then other people have to keep sending more and more to get the same amount of tokens. This solves that. So how do we keep that price? How do we let the price reach its potential, or at least close to its potential? Because I think you can take any project, like the worst meme, the stupidest sounding project, as long as the price goes up, people will buy into it. People will buy into it. And the more the price goes up, the more people will buy into it. Now, so we want to preserve that by, how do we do that? Well, the whales, they want the value that's in the LP. Well, through a tax, we move that value into the future. And we reward those people. Now, if this had happened with Safemoon, all those people who were buying the dip, it actually would have rewarded you. You would have been staking your tokens. If those tokens were being preserved through the value of the being converted to a stable coin, they wouldn't have gone down 90%. The tiny amount of reflections that you got in Safemoon, those reflections also went down 90-something%. Like your entire bag value went down and became absolutely worthless trash, because not only did the price go down, but the little reflections you were getting were attached to the price going down. But by converting to a stable coin, you preserve the value of all the up and down, which is super important. And so if you were a whale in Safemoon, you would have gotten a massive amount of those rewards, and you deserve to. You have the most amount of tokens in the future. So you're playing these two games. You still get to play the fun part, right? And it is fun, which is, 100x, 1000x, and it's like, would you rather have 100 or 1000x that is more likely, or would you rather have that's taxed, or would you rather have a 10x that is less likely and it isn't a tax? People go, I don't like tax, and I go, I guess if a tax being wasted, I would agree with you, but if the tax is making the securing the future of the project, and it's making it more likely to grow, then you just don't understand the tax. The only way that it would make it more likely to grow is if you give what people are looking for. People aren't looking for promises of ideas. They're looking for the value that those promises bring, and it usually doesn't bring that. People are just buying into ideas that aren't even true, and then other smarter people are just dumping on them. through taking the actual value that people are actually seeking, preserving it, and moving it into the future, you provide the thing that people are looking for in a bigger and bigger way. The value of the rewards can only go up. It cannot go down. The value of the LP can always go up and down drastically in both ways. As the volume goes throughout the 12 months that happen, the rewards only build up. And the game with the rewards is it's the amount of tokens you have staked versus the amount of tokens that everyone else has staked. If you buy and you become a whale and you buy half the supply, then nobody will ever be able, whatever those rewards are, you'll always be able to get half of what those rewards are. Nobody will ever be able to buy that many. Now, obviously, people might not want to come in and buy half the spot. You totally can't. I don't know. It's up to you. That I'm not cutting anybody back. If somebody wants to come in and take that big of a risk on my project, that's up to you. And I think it might be valuable, but it's always a risk. I can never guarantee anything. But the more amount of tokens you get into the staking contract, the more of those rewards you're going to get. Everybody who sells before the event forfeits all of their rewards to you. Every whale that leaves, they not only pay into the future of the project whenever they pay that tax, but they're also saying, I'm not going to get my rewards. That means with Evergrow, all the whales that sold, they would have not gotten any of those rewards they were getting. They would have gotten a very small portion of those rewards. And they would have said, we're going to leave all our rewards behind, and we're going to pay a tax into those rewards, into the future. That would leave something real, tangible value that everybody is seeking in the future. Super important. And not just that, but the value, it's also the potential value of the future, because when you move the value from the LP into the future, there's always the potential that more volumes, and it's likely potential that more volume, whether it be sells or buys, is going to fuel those rewards. This creates a safety that no other project has. If you're a whale in this project, let's just say you're a whale and I'm a whale, and I sell. Well, normally in any project when a sell happens, there's just fear of like, oh crap, I hope we get our momentum back up. And there's, oh, don't worry guys, this always happens. It's healthy chart movement. You don't want to go up too much. You know what I mean? All those emotions everybody goes through. When this happens, you'll say, okay, Crypto Control just forfeited all his rewards, and he was a big holder. And he just paid 20% of the tax. Well, he forfeited his rewards, and he paid into those rewards on top of it. He said, "I'm not taking my rewards, and I'm gonna put more of it into it for you guys, so that when I leave, I don't take the project with me. I don't take the hype with me. I do get to take out of the value of the LP, but I get to incentivize buying the dip because I'm providing more rewards for the future that I don't get to take with me because I'm leaving the project." What that means is when sells happen, there's actually incentive for not just whales and smaller holders to buy the dip to get more of those rewards, but there's also incentive for outside investors. There's another huge problem is that the later holders are like, yo, I'm late to the party. I don't want to buy this. I'm saying if the price goes down on something like this, there will always be high demand for outside investors. If the price goes way down, then you can come in with a small amount of money and get the same amount of tokens as other people and be able to split those rewards, and that value could be very high. And so there creates this probably an automatic floor for the price value, which is whatever the value of the rewards are. If it's too cheap to buy the token to get those rewards, then it's going to create a very high demand on those rewards, which obviously is going to push the price up. As the price goes up, the project grows. More people get into it. The more the price goes up, the more the project grows. Now, when a sell-off happens, because it must happen, but I think with this structure, with this tax structure that incentivizes holding, and everybody has actual incentive to hold and not just to outsell each other and hope that utilities or promises of connections through the governments and products and all that stuff actually impacts the charts, which it almost never does. This is if you're not already getting pump and dump scammed, people are giving out tokens, people are using bots to dump on you. This is eliminating all of those things. It's providing a project that actually has potential to reach growth, to reach its potential of to let FOMO flourish, right? It's like a flower that starts to grow, and whales always cut it down because they're incentivized to. They have no incentivization to let the flower grow. But if you say, hey, if you hold, you're going to have all these rewards, and the rewards could be massive, and everybody's paying into the future of the project. Whether you buy or sell, you're putting value into the future, and you're rewarding those who make it to that event. Super important that people understand that. I think it's such a huge deal that people understand that. I don't think anyone's done this. I think Control Token actually solves on a foundational level all of the problems with DeFi, which everybody's looking to make money. Now, if you're a scammer, this does not solve that problem for you. If you're a rug puller, a pump and dumper, you're looking to use bots to take advantage of people, this doesn't solve that for you. The good thing about this is the tax. Nobody can escape that tax. So all of the bad actors who are trying to take advantage of people who aren't using bots, who don't really know what they're doing, even if they try to come in, guess what? They're paying the tax. What does the tax do? It goes towards the future of keeping the project alive. And I'll let you know how it does it now. This is super important. Part of the tax, a small portion of the tax, 2% of the buys and 2% of the sells go towards monthly. So you still do get your rewards every month, but it's the smallest portion of the rewards. 4% of buys and 4% of sells go towards a 6-month. So what that means is you'll get your rewards every month. And on the 6th month, there was 4% of rewards, which means that whatever the volume is for the first 6 months, double was saving up the entire time for the 6-month event. When the 6-month event happens, you get the 4% for that 6 months, but you still get the 2% at the same time for that last month. So you get 2% and the 6%. That's a pretty sweet deal. However, the biggest portion of the tax was building up for the control event. It's all about the control event. It's this event, I almost called it like the equalizer. It's something that takes the value, instead of it being heavily skewed towards only the whales and they take the project with them, it balances the distribution of wealth in a way that incentivizes the future of the project. This is really cool. So the next 6 months, the first 6 months does those, but the entire time there was a bigger tax the entire time going towards the control event. And so that leaves you with 7% of buys, right? 2% is going towards the monthly, 4% is going towards the 6 month. But that entire first 6 months, 7% was building up towards the 12 month. But it doesn't get distributed until the 12 month. But it's 7% of buys and it's 12% of sells. So when sells happen, a large portion go towards the control event. But when the control event happens, it'll be 7 to 12% of all volume that happened for the last year, which will be hopefully near the Bitcoin all-time high, or at least a little bit, within the range of it. Super excited about this. There'll be a countdown on the website to the control event that shows the amount of it, with also the price nearby to show the tokens, so you can see how much you can get, because it's important that people don't just see the chart, but they understand that the value that's in the rewards is the big part of this. You don't just get that 7 to 12%, which is the highest tax, meaning that the 6 month will always be bigger than the months before it, and that the 12 month will always be bigger than the 6 month, no matter what. Even if the volume completely stopped after that first 6 months, the 12 month would still be bigger than that 6 month, because the portion of the tax is going more towards it. The rewards get distributed in a bigger and bigger and bigger manner until the control event, which is where it's a massive distribution of what those rewards are, depending on the volume. But when you get the 12 month, you also get the last 6 months. So the first 6 months is like a taste of what the control event's going to be, because you get the 6 month and the 1 month. But the last 6 months going into next year, you'll get the 12 months that was happening the entire time, the last 6 months, and the last 1 month. You get the 2% of that last month. Not great, but it's adding on top. The 4% of that last 6 months, which is a lot. And then the 7 to 12%, depending on buys, of the last 12 months. This is a massive building up. If Safemoon or Evergrow had this, there would have been insane incentivization to hold and buy more, which likely would have kept the project alive, kept the value going, and that's not including any utilities. By the way, both Safemoon and Evergrow did what they did without any profit from utilities going into the charts. What does that tell you? People buy into ideas, and the price going up has more impact on the charts than anything else. I'm just approaching a project for what it is and not for what people are trying to claim it to be. I'm also utilizing what actually causes a project to grow instead of promising things that don't actually impact the growth of the project. So you have your control event right here. And people are saying what happens after the control event happens. I'll go into that right now. There's the 6-month event. Here's the big thing that solves this. There's going to be questions about how do you stake, how long do you have to stake for. Here's the awesome part about this. If you're not staked, you don't have to stake. You can just buy, hope the price goes up a bunch, and take profits. Nothing wrong with that. When you buy, you're paying into the future of the project. When you sell, you're paying into the future of the project. Still take your profits with you. You're just not taking the project with you. You've got to pay into the future of the project. That's the mindset that we all have. Is the tax forces you basically to think and to think about the future of everybody else instead of just yourself. And we're all paying into that. Yes, you don't want to pay into that. Look, it's not a huge deal. You put 1,000 in. You're putting 850 into the LP, and 130 of it is going into the future. That's all we're doing. We're shifting value into the future and rewarding those who hold. And in that, we're allowing for hopefully the project to grow to its actual potential, whether it be through holders or price. I can't guarantee that. That's just what it's aiming to do. I just can't legally say that. If this wasn't my project, I'd be like, yo, this could be insane. I just have to say things a certain way legally when I talk about price, right? But you fill in the blanks of what you would think if this wasn't my project, of what I might say about that. Now, I'd always talk about the negative potential as well. This is really important. What I'm about to say, it's equally as important as anything I've ever said. So right now this is the control event. It's appreciating stablecoin rewards, and it's delayed appreciating stablecoin rewards. This is a coin that's attached to a dollar value. That only goes up. It can only go up. That's a full video in itself, and I will be explaining that. And this is not me talking about any of the partnerships that I have lined up and potentials that I have lined up to explain this project to big influencers and big partners. My entire belief is in the foundation, because I think everybody's trying to solve something with a bad foundation, and I'm saying let's just fix the foundation and watch what happens. And I think it has potential to blow everyone out of the water. I'm not being unrealistic. I really do believe this has potential to make everybody rethink DeFi and how it's done. Anyways, I'm not saying that. I'm really not blowing smoke up your ass. I really do believe this, and I've been right about Safemoon way before people were. I've been right about Evergrow way before people were. I've been wrong about some things, but I'm usually very realistic is all I'm saying. If you trusted me in those things, I'm not saying trust me, bro, on this one. I'm saying just hear me out. If you're as bullish as this as I am, then you're welcome to join the pre-sale. It's controltoken.net. If you don't want to do the pre-sale, it's fine. This is the only pre-sale that I would say, because of the sell tax, actually incentivizes it to be the floor. If you buy a pre-sale and then sell at a loss, you're an idiot and you just forfeited your rewards. Hopefully, through the tax, we preserve the people that are doing the pre-sale are actually buying the floor value, the cheapest value, the riskiest with time, with the most potential for gain and loss, is the earliest when people don't know about it, which means that if this does blow up, I can't guarantee that it will, but that's my goal, is to make it do that. To help a bunch of people get a project where they have huge gains, to reward the people who make it to the end, to distribute wealth in a more fair way. That's the goal of this. Then, So this is super important. Like I said, this is more important, or equally as important, as everything that I said. If you want to enter the staking contract, you have to agree to do it for a period of time. If you want the control event, you got to agree to stake for a year. You can enter at any point. You can enter the day before the staking contract. This is super important to understand this. I could talk about this for so long, because the more I talk about it, the better it gets. Every single time I do these, the more I talk about it, the better it gets. If you break your contract, which you can break it at any time, you could break it the next day, you could break it right after entering it, you're going to forfeit 30% of your tokens. Now, you don't have to stake, right? You can just say, I'm not staking. I don't want any of my rewards. I'm just gonna play the price action. Hope it goes up enough to take profits. That's the game I'm gonna play, and that might be a very profitable approach. It's up to you. My personal opinion not financial advice. Play both. Have a bag for selling, have a bag for staking. But one could always end up being better than the other if you decide to do this. What this means is that you have these rewards that are building, right? That the 2% on the monthly for every month. I have to write this out because I'm trying to come up with the best structure to display this. You're getting 2% rewards every month of the appreciating stablecoin at the end of the month. This is about to get messy, sorry. Then you're getting 4% every 6 months. So that 4% built up that entire 6 months. 6 months of volume goes into a 4% that happens. And then you get the 2% and the 4% at the same time for that last month right before the 6 month, and the 4% for the entire month. This is a big deal. Now, you're also going to get that again in the next 6 months. You'll get that 4% again. But you're also getting that 12%, the 7 to 12% that built up for 12 months. The entire year, the highest portion of the tax is going towards the control event. So no matter what happens, the 6 month will always be bigger than the 1 month, and the 12 month will always be bigger than the 6 month. The rewards go at an exponential rate. They get bigger and bigger up until the control event. Here's the cherry on top. If somebody stakes and then the price goes up so much that they want to unstake and sell, they have to forfeit their rewards. They have to pay 30% of their tokens, which if you're leaving the staking contract, you're leaving to take profits. So they forfeit their rewards. They pay the 20% tax, but they're also forfeiting 30% of their tokens, meaning that everybody who leaves the staking contract for the control event forfeits 30% of their tokens. So not only do you have those stablecoin rewards that are building up the entire year, but everybody who leaves the staking pool to take profits, because that's the only reason you're leaving the staking pool, unless you're just an idiot, you just like want to unstake for no reason, right? Throwing away tokens, throwing away value, is going to be given to the control event. So if you get to the control event, not only are you getting the stable appreciating coin rewards, but you're also getting 30% of everybody who leaves the staking contract, they forfeit those tokens. Now, if whales are leaving the contract, for one, they're doing it because it would have to be insanely valuable. There would have to be such a huge price increase for you to be like, okay, I'm going to forfeit 30% of my tokens and then pay a 20% tax on the way out, right? Let's just say you had, and I was doing the math on this, and it gets kind of hard. Let's say you had 100K. You put in 1,000, you got 100K. Now you forfeit 30% of your tokens. That puts your value at 70K. And now you have to pay a 20% tax. And that puts you at about 58K. Now, some people, if you're like me, you're not like super rich, super wealthy, really good paying job. 58K is still pretty good. And that's what they might be thinking. They might be thinking, look, these rewards are awesome, but I just really need the money right now. Okay, I'm going to pay the tax, forfeit my tokens, pay the tax on the way out, which also I'm going to forfeit my rewards, forfeit my tokens, and I'm going to pay the tax on the way out. All those things is like I'm going to put a ton of value into the future to counter the selling that I'm about to do. You're never going to be able to counter the sells. Like if you sell, the value you're taking out of the LP is always going to be greater than the value that you're putting into the future. But in every single project, no one's putting any value into the future whenever they sell. They provide no incentive to the future. So with this, you forfeit your tokens, you forfeit your rewards, and you pay the tax as well. It's shifting a ton of value into the future, whereas almost every project has no value into the future with a sell. However, because you're incentivizing the dip and the buys also feel the future, then the buys actually have the capacity to help outweigh the selling power of the sells. Because the buys and the sells feel the future, it does can lead to the value being greater in the rewards than the value in the LP. But the good thing is because those things are with each other, you have the LP and the rewards, they both fuel each other. If the rewards incentivize holding, which incentivizes the price going up, and the LP and the rewards incentivize getting more tokens, which incentivizes the price going up. If the price goes up, it means that people are likely going to hit their selling points. If people hit their selling points and the price goes down, then people are incentivized to buy more tokens. They both the LP and the rewards are fueling each other's growth. You're incentivized to do both for the sake of both. Also, you'll also be able to play this as somebody who wants to just be like, okay, I know there's a tax, and I know that there's less room for profits, but because everyone's paying the tax into the future, it actually, in my opinion, creates more room for profits because it's, in my opinion, obviously more likely to go up if you have actual value in the future as opposed to having zero value in the future other than taking out of the LP. There's more to this, but I'm going to stop and read the comments for a second. What's up, King? How can we find more info on XUSD? Mark is relaunching it soon, so I'll be able to put out a video on that. He had a radio voice. People would talk about winning and losing in crypto and how it helped even realize it was something. Okay. What are the rewards? Native token or a stablecoin? It's an appreciating stablecoin. It's a stablecoin that only goes up in value. Similar to BUSD. Control token could moon safely. It's not my coin, so I can say it. There you go, Zach. No, it rises in value over time. Can you sell these rewards as they are? Yes. If here's the thing is, I think Mark is revamping XUSD. I can give you guys a quick rundown of what XUSD is, and then it might be changing to be something even better. XUSD pays a tiny % tax on buys and sells, and then the supply is only what is bought and sold. So when you buy, you mint tokens, and when you sell, you destroy them. So literally, if one person bought one coin XUSD, that would all be all that's in supply. But through this very tiny tax and through the function of minting and destroying tokens, the tiny tax gets applied to every single token equally. You're able to ensure that the value only goes up, because when you sell, you pay this very tiny tax and you destroy those tokens. So the XUSD chart literally looked like that. However, which creates an appreciating stablecoin, I loved that idea, honestly. I hope Mike keeps it that way, but he might be changing it to something else. It still only goes up. It just won't be based on buys and sells. If he changes it to a utility appreciating stablecoin, which means if you guys don't know Mark, for one, he's like a prodigy, and two, he's creating a ton of insane stuff. I could go on forever about Mark, and I will talk about something that's massive, but he's creating a ton of utilities, and I believe that a lot of these are going to be driving XUSD, and he wants to use profit from outside XUSD to drive its price instead of just buy and sell pressure. My project, I believe, would create a lot of buy and sell pressure, so I thought it would be really good, which means that when other people sell XUSD, that it causes the price to go up. So anyways, he might be changing it to it's still an appreciating stablecoin. He just might be changing it to a profit. I'm not sure, but as soon as he puts that out, I'll be putting full breakdown videos of all this stuff on the website and on the YouTube channel and stuff so that people can understand their investment. I'm taking a much different approach to crypto, to a project. I don't want people to have this expectation that they have for every other project. Everything is about the contract. I'm shifting hope in the future of the project from promises of utilities and like partnerships and huge things that usually only end up in people losing money to the people that sell on them, sell the news or whatever. Shifting it into the real value from the tax being shifted in the future, and understanding that what that structure does to the psychology, because I really do believe all of this is psychology and math. And so this is a mathematical, psychological approach to a foundational issue of all of DeFi. And I don't think that you need to produce. This is one thing I'll say this real quick about utilities. Anybody who's promising utilities, why wouldn't you just go make that utility yourself? Why would you make a utility and then try to balance the profits with tens of thousands of people? What's up, Brandon? Try to balance those profits with tens of thousands of people. Why wouldn't you just take that for yourself? Wouldn't it be much more significant for one person than trying to share it with thousands to tens of thousands of people? Most profit from utilities are not going to happen. And it's actually not going to make any wealth. Unless it's a serious company or you have some very smart, honest people behind it. And like I said, yeah, Squid Grow, Evergrow, Vitreous, yeah, 100%. I believe in those. I think those are massive opportunities. Those are very realistic, more realistic than most projects. But most projects that are saying profit from utility, Even if their utilities come out, the profit's not going to be enough to change the charts. It's just a more convincing idea. That's why people are saying that. I'm saying what's really going on. People are buying into projects because they want to moon, they want to be early. And I'm saying let's create something that aims to give people that. Well, how do you make something more likely to go up? You create incentive to hold. How do you do that? You change how the distribution of wealth is happening by taking a tax and putting it into the future. Now people actually have incentive to buy the dip and to hold because they're going to get more of the rewards for other people. And through incentivizing the future, you actually hopefully allow for that FOMO, that initial FOMO, the number one price movement in any project, the actual reality of what's happening to reach its full potential, which is almost always halted by the selling point of the whales. That's another huge point that I haven't really got to talk about is recovery and bouncing back. I believe that when a sell-off happens, because there's so much incentivization to get those rewards and for the price to go up, and people understand the price is more likely to go up because people want to get those rewards, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Well, that'll cause the price to go up to get those rewards because they expect other people to. They might do it themselves, and that's another part of crypto is expecting the future. So he might be changing the XUSD to a profit. The point is, you can sell your XUSD. Whenever you get those rewards, you can sell it anytime. If you want to sell it and buy more and stake more, you can always do that. It's just whatever you're staking, it's the day that you stake it and the amount you stake that depends. So you can't combine. You can't like put more into one staking pool. It's every time you stake, it's its own stake. The reason that we do that is to protect you. Everything is about protecting you and protecting the future of the project. If somebody could stake one token until the end of the project and then come and put the rest of their tokens in, they didn't take any risk. They could have taken profits, and now they're putting all their tokens in. You don't want that. Trust me. If somebody comes in the day before the control event and they try to buy a ton of tokens, stake them, get those rewards, and then sell. This is designed to help you. The people who bought early, and there'll probably be like, I don't know, we'll give a time frame to try to get everybody the opportunity to stake. But even if you stake like months after the control event, if you held for your entire year, then you'll be able to sell without hitting that 30% tax from leaving the staking contract, forfeiting 30% of your tokens to the staking contract. If you hold for the time that you committed to, you don't have to pay that tax. So if you do it in the very beginning, this is the advantage of being early at control project as well, is if you do it in the very beginning, you stake, you get your rewards, all that tax that built up for the entire year, you get your tokens, and then if you want to, you can take profits. Somebody was asking what happens after the first year. Well, I'll tell you what happens. I'll try to. I'm pretty sick and my throat's pretty jacked up. Don't promote other projects in the chat, bro. So the control event, like, why would it happen more than once? There are a couple reasons, but I'll try to hit them real fast. Man, my throat is jacked up. Sorry, guys. I've been like really sick since I went to New York. Just my throat. After it happens, would there be a big sell-off? Here's what I would say. If this event was really good, if the rewards were like, holy cow, I can't believe this, which, by the way, Evergrow did $40 million in rewards. Imagine that most of those rewards were put behind a staking contract and given to those whales at the end. DeFi Mark did, Free Gender. DeFi Mark did. I'm gonna hit this point. I'm gonna hit the future opportunities that we have, and then I'll probably end it here. But I just want people to know about this. But anyways, I want to explain the control event. So if this sell-off happens, people will be thinking, will this happen again? If the rewards are really good, people might be thinking, if the sell-off, that might be a great entry point. Hey, those rewards are insane. I'll throw a certain amount at this price if it's that low because I'll be building up for another year again. Another thing is that past 12 months, everybody who's having these entry points throughout the entire time, they have a longer point to hit until they can hit their selling point, unless they want to take that 30% loss of their tokens. What that means is these people's selling points is literally like 6 months into the second control event, 7 months into the second control event, because that's when they bought. A lot of these people will have incentive to hold till those point period, which alleviates that sell pressure because they're likely to hold their tokens because they're staking them. What I believe this can do, and I'm not saying this can go on infinitely, but I believe that it can cause it to happen again, maybe even on a bigger scale. Maybe not, but it could be even happen on a bigger scale. It really depends on the psychology. All of investing is based on the psychology of the investor. If they believe they're going to make money, they buy. If a lot of people believe it, it causes the price to explode. And so what we're doing is through the buys and the sells, which is the most powerful tool of growing a project, is in the power of the whole instead of in the few. Using that tax and putting that towards the future, I believe that a control event would happen multiple times. It might die off, but I don't know. I don't know what would happen. This is just my shot at making something that has three main purposes, is to allow the number one factor of price growth, of project growth, that FOMO in the beginning when the price is going insane, to reach its potential. Like whatever that is, I think it's always halted by the whales, and that's the goal of this, is to say what would happen if we alleviated that and we let it go to its full potential. But we don't want to just stop them. We want to actually incentivize them to hold. You can't just turn off sells like freaking Squid Game's token. The second thing is to distribute wealth more fairly. Like it can't just be 5% making profit and 95% of people taking a massive L. What if those 5% paid a tax on the way out that went towards everybody who stayed behind? Why can't we distribute wealth more fairly in a way that helps and incentivizes the future of a project? And not just that, but to the people who deserve it the most. If you have the most amount of tokens in the staking contract, you deserve the most amount. You actually deserve it because you held the longest and you have the most tokens. Those people are usually never rewarded. It's usually the people that sell the top, people who are like the dirtiest actors probably, that who did the least amount of work and just got lucky, or they lied and pumped their bags. The last thing is to actually provide real incentive to get in the project at a much higher market cap when people might be scared to get in because they feel like they're late. So real incentive to get in late because those rewards are there, and because the actual potential of the price to go up is there because the rewards, because everyone's paying into that future. These are the three main goals of Control Token, is to really just give people what they want through creating a project that hopefully reaches its full potential of what it can do, not being hindered by the whales. Distribute that wealth that is gathered together in the liquidity pool through a tax pushed into the future in a more fair way that rewards the holders who hold the longest, and actually provides real incentive for later holders to get in as well by rewarding them with the rewards and with that potential price movement. All those things are on the line. Let me hit these last parts real quick, and then I'll read comments, and then I'll end it here. There's probably a lot that I missed, but I'm just sick, and I can't do this for too long. This is the last part that's important, that outside of what I believe is Control Token, the idea isn't founded upon a promise of some utility that might produce profit. It's the promise that if we get that momentum, we're going to use it in a way that fuels the project and grows the project. But the marketing opportunities are these. Evergrow, we're probably going to do an AMA with them. They're going to get a certain amount of tokens. They're going to give those away to people on Atlas Wallet. They're going to get airdropped. Not much, I don't know, 3, 5, 10, 20 bucks. Thousands of people will get Control Token. These are the only tokens that are giving away. I'm not giving away any tokens. I wasn't going to give away any until they talked to me about this partnership, and I'm like, oh, that's actually a great idea. So if you have thousands of people getting, $5 to $10 to $20 worth of token, that value goes up. Say it goes up, I don't know, 2-3x. Now they have a 30. They might be like, what is this thing? Let me check it out. Also, they might just be like, oh yeah, crypto control. He told me about Evergrow. He made a project. Let me see what that's about. Oh, it actually sounds like something crazy. like tokenomics solving a foundational issue of all of DeFi. You know, if you're bullish on why Evergrow and Safemoon, I can't see how you wouldn't be more bullish on this than anything you've ever seen. So yeah, the partnership with Evergrow, if you take that for what you will, but me being able to reach a lot of people who got an Evergrow and like let them hear about this project and understand this project, I think has massive potential. Also, Evergrow's kind of shifting to some of these ideas as well as far as rewarding stakers. But they actually have that utility. Like I said, utility is great. If you can create a real one, yes, it's better than most projects. It's just that most projects aren't going to create that. They're just using that to sell you on the idea. If you actually are creating real utility, then it can't, but it has to generate a lot of revenue to actually affect the charts because it's being given to thousands of holders, if not more. But I also have DeFi Mark. So DeFi Mark is announcing this new technology, and he said that Control Token could be a partner of it. I can't say exactly what it is, but when it comes out, we'll find out how big it is. I don't want to oversell it, but it also seems to have potential to be like Mark could be famous with this technology because of what he's created. I could be wrong, but if I'm not, and it is as big as what I think it is, I don't want to undersell it either. I try to give you a realistic expectation. My understanding is like, Mark, that sounds like something that would change DeFi forever, and Control Token would be a partner with that. I don't know what the implications of that could be, but I'd love to talk about that more. He should be announcing it soon. As soon as he announces it, I'll be able to talk to you guys about it. We'll be able to see how big it is. But that does have massive potential to be a partnership with some technology that Mark's made that's insane. So we got the Evergrow partnership, the Control Token partnership. When I went to New York recently, I became friends with Dogecoin millionaire, Slum Doge, Pro the Doge, guy who sold his house, put it all in the Dogecoin, went up to 3 million. Everybody knows who he is. Got an interview with him. I'll be uploading to my channel soon, talking about his investment strategy, which is actually pretty interesting. An investment strategy that I don't use and I haven't heard, and it's not super uncommon, but I just like it. It was a cool video, and I'll be putting that out soon. Anyways, we started talking about my project with Slum, Dogecoin millionaire, and at a certain point he was like, because I'm sure he gets this all the time, right? People, oh, you should hear about this project, blah blah blah. At a certain point he was like, it caught his attention. He was like, okay, tell me about your project. And I happened to have this piece of paper out where I was writing down all the ideas, and I have a chart, and I'm showing the value going from the LP into the future and how that changes the sentiment to more long-term and future growth instead of incentivized to destroying the project like 90%. Like it's amazing. This idea is amazing in my opinion. Anyways, after a certain point, he was asking me his questions. What happens if you stay? What happens if you do this? And I'm like, at a certain point, he's like, let's do a space, and we'll talk about your project. And I was like, oh man, like I didn't want to like leech off you, or I was not trying to leech off you to grow the project. I really am so confident in the idea that I think that the idea will do good itself, that it will prove itself. I could be wrong, right? This project could fail and not do well. I don't know, but I am just super bullish and confident in it, in the idea, not in really anything outside of that. I think the idea will sell itself because the structure is what everybody's looking for. Everybody wants a safe thing that goes up, that makes them money, that rewards the long-term holders. Everybody wants that, but nobody's really getting that. No, you'll have to stake them. We'll be having videos on that. Hey, what's up, Golden Sun? So anyways, I'm going to be putting out this interview, and I'll probably, after I put out the interview, I'm going to try to edit it and make it really good. I'm going to reach back out to him because I think we're cool now. I think we're friends. I hit him up in the DMs. We talked. We hung out a couple times. We shot some stuff. We're laughing and joking. We're on the Squid Grow team, me and Slum Doge. So it's pretty cool to be on a team with him, thanks to Shiptoshi bringing me on. Anyways, doing a Twitter space with him discussing my project. Who knows what the implications of that could be? People might be like, they don't like the tax, right? This might be a great idea, but people just don't accept it. I don't know what's going to happen, but I believe in the idea, and I think that I'm not trying to resonate with the scammers or with the people who have projects. Like a lot of people who have projects, my project is going to feel like an attack on their project because it technically is. It's not specifically their project, but it's really just the foundation of what their project is. And it's kind of attacking kind of the reality that the promises that most projects are making are just to convince holders to buy, and those are not actually going to affect the charts in the way that the buyers think. Not meant to attack them, but that is another problem that I have to come across is I might need to word these things in a way that seem less attacky to projects, because everyone feels attacked when I tell them about this. I'm like, look, I'm not trying to attack your project. This is just the structure. Everyone's scamming, pumping, and dumping, and everyone's incentivized to. And even if you remove all the bad actors, the early buyers are going to get the project by the balls, and they're only going to be able to hold as long as their weakest whale will, because as soon as he sells, everybody else is going to sell. You create a new ceiling, and the price can never go above that. As soon as that's gone, no one cares about that project, and it's almost impossible to get that price growth again. I'm trying to address the number one problem while also trying to utilize the number one factor of growth, and this tax does both those things. So can partnership with DeFi Mark, partnership with Evergrow, potential interview with Slumdoge Millionaire talking about the project with his audience. I don't know how they're going to feel being exposed to this, but it just kind of depends on how he reacts. Now, if he reacts to it negatively, like, I don't know, blah, blah, then that could be bad, right? But if he's like, I like the idea, I like what you aim to do, I hope it does well, then that could be really good. Last thing, and I don't know if this is a huge thing at all, but I did talk to, like, Andy, and I'm not going to hold him to it, but he's a big, Twitter guy. He said he would buy the project when I explained it to him. And I'm like, I don't want people to buy the project just to support me. Like, don't buy a project just to support me. Look at the idea. I don't want your confidence to be in me. I've had people say, you're doing a project, I'm buying. And I said, why? Well, you don't even know what it is. Why are you buying this? And they're like, dude, because I trust you. I know you're not going to rug. I was like, okay, well, yeah, that's true. But, like, I don't know. Only do it if you think you're going to make money. It's just that the people who followed me through Safemoon and they saw that I was willing to tell the truth at the hardest times, and that I warned them about Evergrow, and I did it in, like, as much of a way to say, like, look, Evergrow may not do well. I'm super bullish on it. If you are too, you can jump into it with me. Thousands of people jumped into it and it did really well. I'm saying I'm more bullish in this structure than I am any other crypto, because it deals with the number one problem of why projects fail, and it also incentivizes the growth of the project, and in a extremely exciting way, in an event that is actually real, that actually has substance in it. The value is being pushed into a reward-like structure that gets bigger and bigger leading up into an event. Everybody wants some big event to look to. Elon talking about it on the news, something going to the moon. Everybody's trying to look for this big event. This is a real event that's coming from the number one source of power of creating something, and the power is in the community. You put a tax in the community, that use that tax like a smart person. You don't want to waste that tax on this goes to the burn, this part goes towards this goes to you don't want to waste it. You want to put as much of the value as you can into the future and incentivize the growth of the project. So this is all we have going right now. Obviously there's more room for growth. We're in the pre-sale. I've said this before. It's controltoken.net. The pre-sale, every pre-sale, I freaking hate pre-sales, man. I hate them. But I think that this one might set itself apart, because if you try to sell at the pre-sale, you have to pay a 20% sell fee into the future of the project. You have to forfeit your rewards. You would literally just be selling at a loss. You would have to be like, I hate crypto control so much that I'll waste money to try to make his charts look bad, which, by the way, I do have people that probably would do that. They hate me so much. The Safemoon maxis and some of the fudders on Twitter, they hate my guts. Anything to make me look bad. They don't care if they hurt other people's value. They hate me so much they really would do that to make me look bad. I hope they don't do that. They might do that. I hope that this pre-sale and through this structure, the buy and sell tax, that it actually preserves a floor. Because that's the entire point of the pre-sale, is you're taking the risk, you're getting on the floor. Bad actors have used pre-sales to use bots to immediately dump on people who did the pre-sale. I just did a pre-sale. I got freaking dumped on, dude. I'm never doing another pre-sale again that doesn't have a tax structure that applies to every single wallet. Because if people are immediately selling, dude, you just wasted your money. Most projects, you should never do a pre-sale. You should wait a couple days and then decide if you want to get in a project or not. But with this tax, hopefully this is actually the floor and the cheapest price to get the most amount of tokens. Because when launch happens, you got a 20% sell fee. And if you want to pay that, that's fine. You're probably going to be at a loss. Anyways, yep, guys, it's controltoken.net. A lot of people got burned on Safemoon. You bought the dip all the way down, 95 to 99% value, all the way down, saying, thanks for the reflections, buying the dip. Thanks for the reflections. I'm going to get as much as I can. They halted trading and John's in jail, convicted of fraud because he took hundreds of millions out of the LP. Said he would tell us if he did and didn't tell us. Now, look, I'm not trying to tell you that to make you hate me. I'm just saying I'm the one of the people who spoke that the loudest, as loud as I could, with the platform I had the entire time, to let you know you could have saved your money if you sold here. You could have saved your money if you sold here. I was telling you the truth the whole time. Now I'm saying, hey, I've created something that if my structure, if my tokenomics was in place with Safemoon, I don't think it would have died. Two, there would have been 2% of the buys and sells going towards paying for stuff, so they wouldn't have had to steal the LP. They would have actually had money to spend instead of trying to sell their bags. They sold their bags, and then they stole the LP, by the way. And then they started using marketing after V2. Thanks, Tommy. Yeah, my throat's real. I got sick in New York, which sucked because there's a lot of networking and stuff, but my throat's just jacked. My sinuses are crazy. My head's been hurting. I've been nausea. I'm trying to get over it. I put some onions and some honey, and I put some cayenne in it. You let it sit there for 12 to 24 hours, and then you drink that. It's supposed to help you. So tomorrow I'm going to drink that. Hopefully that helps. So if this structure was in place, the biggest whales, everybody who sold, they would have been forfeiting probably definitely millions of dollars. If the important part of this, if you miss this, is when you use these taxes, you can't do reflections. You have to convert it to preserve the value. If you convert it to a stable coin, you preserve the value. If you preserve that value, then it's not lost when the price goes down. That's super important. And then you have to delay it, because if you give it out immediately, then after they get the rewards and the volume dies, they want to sell. If you delay it, you put it into the future. Now everybody who's getting out, they're forfeiting those rewards. It's super important that you have this structure. They forfeit their rewards when they leave. Now let's say that nobody sells. Well, what's going to happen? The price is going to go absolutely parabolic. If no one's selling, the price just keeps going up. Now let's say people do sell. Now people have incentive to buy the dip, and then they get into that. This creates positive things with both buys and sells, because everybody's buys and sells is fueling the future rewards. And when anybody sells, they're forfeiting those future rewards and they're paying into it. I think it's an amazing idea. If you don't like it, that's totally fine. Like, it's a risk either way. I may not do well. The marketing may not be good. It may be a good idea, but I might just not be able to get it off the floor. I honestly think that because I'm not scamming people like a jackass, that the people that are getting in, that we're not attracting scammers, pump and dumpers. We're not attracting those people. I don't want those people. I don't want a whale to come in, get a quick, 50% pump and then dump on everybody. I hate that. That's taking advantage of like all the people who deserve it the most. My target audience outside of Safemoon and Evergrow people is like 90% of DeFi, of people who are being taken advantage of by the scammers, the rug pullers, the pump and dumpers. I'm like, hey guys, here's a safe place for you where the only way to come into this project or leave it is to pay into its future. Isn't that amazing? And you can know, yeah, you're paying it, but guess what? Everybody else is too. So after you do it, it's actually benefiting you. And my confidence in this structure, how it deals with the foundational problem of DeFi, I don't know if I could word that any better. Literally, it's the problem with DeFi is how the wealth is being distributed. How is it being distributed? Through the LP. How does that work? You send tokens, you send the coins, you get the tokens back, right? And it happens in a pyramid-like structure where whoever sends it the earliest gets the most. Everyone who gets in after them gets a smaller amount, and then they sell on those people. Through a tax, you take the value that would go into the LP and you put it into the future. Through a tax, you take the value that comes out of the LP and you put it into the future. What does that do? It keeps the project alive. It fuels the growth of it. You forfeit. It's not just putting a tax into the future, but it's because it's in the future, you have to make it to the future to get that. What does that do? It allows for it incentivizes the growth of the project. I can't tell you how important all these ideas are and how I don't see any problems with it. I'm not saying that this is going to make every single person rich. There has to be losers, but I'm saying there's going to be much less losers. Where most projects have like 3 to 5% winners, 95% losers, I think a project like this will have 30 to 40% winners and 60% losers. I think my goal is to balance the distribution of wealth, not make everybody rich. That's impossible. There must be losers. But I want to make a more fair project that allows for greater price growth. And I'm trying to be transparent about it all too. If you don't believe in it, that's totally fine. I don't care. Like, if you have questions, you can ask me about it. But if you're just going to be hateful, then I'm like, if you don't like it, that's fine. You don't have to be part of it. You can respectfully ask me any question you want about it, any concern. and I'll elaborate and explain, because I don't think that there's anything that I've heard that holds any weight to it. Any question that you could pose towards control token can be posed towards any. How do you expect value? Or volume? Well, people buy it. That's with any project. You're not going to get volume unless people buy and sell it. Well, how do you expect them to do that? Because they're buying into an idea that's real, that's not false, because they know I'm not going to rug or scam because I'm Docs, and I've proven that I'm just not that kind of person with how I covered Safemoon and Evergrow. They know I'm not giving away any tokens other than the partnership with Evergrow, and they know that the hundreds of hours that I put into thinking of this wasn't like I want to be rich and I will do a project and people will buy into it and then I'll sell on them. It was like, no, I put hundreds of hours of my experience from Safemoon, DeFi, Evergrow, sitting down, thinking about this. Like, I don't know if you know me, I have an obsession. You can ask my fiance. I kind of have an obsession of breaking ideas down into their simplest form. Like, because I feel like the truth is at the bottom. This is what led me to think, where's the problem happening? Where is it happening? Where's it happening? It's at the very bottom. It's at the foundation. The whales have too much power, and they control how long projects last. Whenever they destroy the projects, nobody has anything left. How do we change that? Well, why are they being given so much value for getting in early? Like, that's good, but they're being given too much value. Do you really need to pull $100,000, $1 million on those people that got you and they get nothing and you get all that? What if you paid some of that back into it in order to keep the project alive? Golden Sun, thanks for the $5, man. I really appreciate that. I remember you from the Safemoon days. Your words made sense. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Scott B says, good evening, CC. This sounds like a great project. This has echoes of Surge Token, a la DeFi. Mark as a dev. I love the idea, but the code with Surge had a chink in the armor. Has this been addressed? Yeah, Scott B, if you wanted... Mark put out like 5 contracts. The Surge one was like the first one he put out, and it wasn't audited. Everything else has been audited, and he hasn't had any problems since then. If you're worried about that, you have 2 options. You can say maybe that's too risky, I don't want to do with that again, or you can just research XUSD and look at the audit and see if you think it's safe. Mark's proven that it's safe since then, but that's definitely up to you to decide. Yeah, I lost about $1,000 on Safemoon because I bought it at the first dip back in the day when it was just showing up. Okay, that's not too bad of a loss. I mean, that sucks still, though. I've lost $1,000 on Vetter and a bunch of other projects as well. Did you answer the code question from earlier? Joined late. Pat, what was that code? I'm sorry. What was the question about the code? What's up, Erythium? Drink some lemon honey. I really need some right now, bro. I really need some. My throat hurts. Thank you, CC. I was in Safemoon, got out February 2022. Thanks to your videos at this time. I was been profit Evergrow. Awesome to hear, Max Walker. Like, that's why I say my goal is not to make money at the cost of others losing money. I want to make money, and I want to help you make money. The only way I can do that is to tell you what I'm bullish on, and you might lose, right? But we won with Evergrow. Congratulations to you guys for getting in on it. You still took that risk. I told you why I was bullish. You still took the risk on it. I told people about Vitreous. A bunch of people followed me into Vitreous. I don't know how that's going to go. It may not go well for us, but it's worth the risk, in my opinion. If Vitreous doesn't work out, I will never think, oh, I was an idiot. I'll think, no, that had massive potential. However, it might work out and make a lot of people a lot of money. That's what I hope for. Same thing with SquidGrow. I think SquidGrow still has good potential to get in on. I still think it has a long way to grow. After seeing what I witnessed in this last week in New York, being part of the SquidGrow team, seeing what Shibtoshi was doing, seeing what he's capable of, meeting everybody, I think SquidGrow might be like a global brand. I could be wrong, but that's kind of what I see happening. Waiting on, yeah, don't promote other stuff in here, guys. It's disrespectful. Can I still sell my Safemoon? I have like, no, you can't sell your Safemoon. Same here, Max. So, okay, guys, so I think I answered, I explained the goal, the purpose, the vision, the psychology, the math. I explained the event, how that works, explained the stable coin. I explained the partnerships. It's up to you. I still have a lot more content on it. If you want to see more, if you're not getting it, because sometimes you have to hear something over and over and over again to really understand it. If you just hear it once and it's not all clicking, then it might not be sitting right in your head or whatever. And feel free to join the Discord. Ask me any questions you want. But I have a lot of content on this on my Twitter and on my YouTube. Go to my live streams, go to my videos. And if you go to controltoken.net, I have a video breaking it down that I put like 50 hours into making. So that video is supposed to be a 8 to 10 minute presentation on the video in the most entertaining way to explain the project and its purpose. But it's controltoken.net, guys. We're just getting started with the pre-sale. We're going to have the launch I really hope this project, like my only goal is to, with this project, like I said, is that it hits its heights that it's aiming to do, that it distributes wealth more fairly. I'm doing the pre-sale just like everybody else. I don't get any free tokens. And technically, I'm on the team. I could pay myself out of the 2% tax treasury or the pre-sale tax, because trust me, you in this project, you want me working full time for this project. You want me making content, partnerships. Also, the last thing I mentioned, I really should quit talking, is that if we have partnerships that come out, this is the last thing I'm going to say, and this is related to Safemoon. They use the swap partners to benefit themselves. They could have used the profit from that to put in the LP or to give rewards to stakers or something. They didn't even use that. Everything they did was for themselves. It was for, I'm sorry if you don't like to hear this, it was for John. It was for John and to pay the team. If we have partnerships, which I probably say that, look, I make videos for Crypto Control, and if I need to make a living, if I'm doing partners, if I'm still making videos for other projects on Crypto Control, which I will be making videos for SquidGrow, I'll probably be making videos for Evergrow here and there, probably trying to make videos for Vitreous because I got to keep people updated on those things that's going on. That's my channel. But when it comes to Control Token, the channel and the Twitter, or if we're doing spaces every Sunday, which is my goal, is to do a space every Sunday, if we have other projects that are willing to pay a lot to come in and speak and let us look at their project and let people decide, do we like this or do we not like it? I won't push it on you to be like, check it out. That's going to go into the control event, right? We might use portions of it to pay the team, or a very small portion of it to pay the people that are in the space that are actually interacting, the control token holders. But most of it, 70% probably, would just be going straight into the control event. So if our weekly spaces are hype, if we grow, we get a bunch of holders, and we have hundreds to thousands of people in a space every Sunday, a lot of projects during the bull market, guys, when there's the most money to be spent on marketing and people desperately want to be in front of audiences, 70% of that could be a lot. We could be taking $7,000. If we get paid $10,000, maybe the team takes $1,000, $2,000 goes to the people that are actually in the space through giveaways, and then 70% of it goes to the control event. That would be super awesome to utilize the community in a way that benefits the community, instead of listing swap partners, promoting them to the Safemoon army, and then taking all that profit. And man, Safemoon got burned hard by John Caroni, bro. Like the degree to which John took from Safemoon, it cannot be communicated, from actually pulling hundreds of millions out of the LP, ruining the massive potential partnerships with his mom's company. Like everything he did hurt, and it was self-centered, and it was about him. It wasn't about the Safemoon. Everything about Control Token is about the future of the project. It's about every holder is in mind when I'm designing this. It's not just, oh, the team and me and the whales. It's like, no, I'm thinking about those later people. How do we reward them? How do we incentivize them? How do we balance this wealth distribution? So everything that we're doing is rewarding those who hold the longest. Let's go, CC. Yep, I still need to get some SG tokens, SquidGrow and Evergrow. Yeah, SquidGrow, I think that's definitely a good play too. But yep, guys, it was great hanging out with you guys. I can do a Twitter space if you guys actually want to talk to me. I'm going to go see the eclipse tomorrow, guys, so hopefully those conspiracy theorists aren't right about that crazy stuff going on. And honestly, guys, I'm going to be real with you guys. I miss making videos for you guys and interacting with you guys, being in live spaces. So much fun. And I hope that, Evergrow gets back to it and we go see those glory days and we get to hang out in the spaces watching the charts. It's super fun. We got a bull market coming up. We've got partnerships. I've got this interview with Slum Doge Millionaire I'm about to put out. Probably try to put that out this week. I've got a video on my trip to SquidGrow. I have to put all that into a video, put that out for you guys. And then I'm going to be heavy into Control Token to give everybody an opportunity. And then we're going to launch. Once we got the website, the audit done, and the website showing the true amount of, it's going to be a vault countdown to the control event on the website. I want it to be kind of this epic anticipation, this tension of like something big's coming. And it's going to show the amount of the stable coin in the vault, and then it's going to show a countdown to when the vault actually opens. So I think that's going to be really awesome. Once all that's done, we're good to go. It'll just be straight marketing from that point on. And I definitely have some great marketing ideas, but I literally make content and people want my content. So it'll really come down to the community. As long as the community shows up for the spaces and for the videos, we create value that everybody in the space, especially in the bull market, is going to be seeking, and we'll be able to utilize that value in such a way that benefits the future of the project by taking that value and putting it towards the future. People you want to be in a space with us with our thousands of viewers. That's going to be 10,000, 20,000, maybe 50,000. In the bull market, people charge some insane prices. You guys wouldn't believe this. Most I've ever been paid is like $3,000, I think, for a video, $2,000 to $3,000, which is a lot for a video. But if we have a massive community, you can really up those numbers. As long as the community shows up and it's not botted, say you got to a point where you could charge $20,000. Oh, $20,000, let's put that towards monthly rewards. Let's put that towards 6 months rewards. Like, you know that with me, like, yes, I have to, if I'm going to make an amazing project, I don't see anything wrong with me benefiting from it as long as I'm transparent about it. I'll be able to pay myself with the 2% tax. 2% tax is going to the treasury. That's to pay dev work. Primary thing is, like, we got to pay the devs. And if we have the other thing I haven't said is I don't want the people's hope in this project to have anything to do with utility. I don't want it. Your hope is in the code and the effect that it has on the psychology of the investors to allow them to actually feel safe in holding and buying the dip through the delayed stablecoin appreciating rewards, leading up into a big event, right? But and Mark's already told me, if a utility comes along that's actually promising, because I don't want a utility that generates a couple $1,000 that's not going to affect the charts. If an actual utility does come along, we can attach it to this project, right? We can attach it to a structure that already incentivizes the future, and that utility can fuel those rewards as well on a monthly, 6-month, and 12-month basis. Once again, the greater portions of that tax fueling the rewards. If that happens, I don't want your hope to be in that happening, and I don't think your hope needs to be in that happening, because I think most people promising utility is just that it's a more convincing idea to buy into, but it actually doesn't usually result in any rewards for people. So once again, guys, miss you too. Hope your token does well. Take care, brother. Awesome, Jack. I really appreciate that. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Thanks for the donations, guys. I appreciate that. I missed the glory days of actually getting donations and being able to do this full time. So hopefully I'll be able to cover this full time, make videos, do the AMAs, do partnerships. I already have, I'm making a lot of connections, like I said, in the space. And like, if that keeps happening, then there's always just, you don't know, you know what I mean, what partnerships lead to. They lead to more partnerships, and the opportunities are massive. And my confidence isn't that people are going to buy into something for no reason. My confidence is in the idea. It's like, hey, this distributes wealth in a more and fair way that incentivizes the growth of the project. There's no getting away from that. That's factual, it's math, and it's psychological. It's the root truth of the problem that every crypto is facing. And I do believe that Control Token addresses it in a way that still allows you to have fun and get your 10, 100x, 1000x potential if it happens, right? It incentivizes the growth of the project so that you can do that. It's just when you sell, you have to pay back into the project. You don't get to take the project with you. You're still going to hurt the chart like you do, but the people that are in the project are going to understand that when those sells are people who just forfeited the rewards, paid the tax into the future, and if they left the staking contract, they forfeited 30% of their tokens. Those are massive things. The entire point is you shouldn't be able to leave with all the value of the project in a space that's full of scams, rug pulls, and pump and dumps, people using bots. If you're leaving, maybe you should leave a portion of what you earned, and that'll go towards the future of the project to keep it alive. That's what I think needs to happen, and I think that it'll alleviate the sell pressure, allow for FOMO to take its full course, and it'll lead into a control event. The reason it's named after me is because this literally is kind of what my specialty is making content, the tokenomics, the numbers, and psychology, and being real. I'm not amazing, but those are the things that I'm skilled at. Some people might disagree with me. I spent a lot of time on tokenomics, spent a lot of time on psychology when it came to Safemoon, maxing mindsets, spent a lot of time on a lot of projects being pushed my way, and me having to say, hey, what's your vision for this project? How can I present it to somebody so that they can understand why they would make any future? Why would they expect to make any profit? And some projects couldn't answer that, and I just didn't cover those projects. my project, I'm more confident in this project than I am any other project, because I believe I am addressing the problem that everyone is facing. Everyone's buying, getting rug pulled, scammed, pump and dump. They're getting botted on pre-sales. They don't feel safe holding. If they do hold, they're usually being punished because once the whales get out, the project isn't alive. How many dead projects have you bought after the whales sold for barely even anything? They didn't even let it grow that much because they're so freaking greedy, and you have people that just going from pre-sale to pre-sale using bots to dump on people. It's disgusting and shameful. I'm here for you guys. I brought control token to you. The structure keeps those bad actors away, and it allows for you to get in a project that hopefully can reach its maximum potential while still rewarding those later holders instead of punishing the people who deserve it the most. You hold the most tokens the longest, you should be rewarded for that. You helped keep the project alive. Instead of being punished like 99%, or maybe not 99, maybe all of DeFi, with this project, you'll be rewarded for it, and you'll be rewarded the most. And I really like that about this project. Anyways, guys, awesome chatting with you guys. I'll see you guys next time. I'll be doing a lot more content coming your way on Crypto Control, Twitter Spaces, and the Discord. You guys have a great day.